Spend My Life, Real Love, the list goes on and on and on. He continues to tour. He's got a brand new CD. Let's welcome Mark Slaughter to The Blend.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
I'm doing great, Mark. Welcome to The Blend. It's only rock and roll on these crazy days, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what it's all about.
You've got a brand new CD out there. We are all digging it. We are cranking it out. What inspired this? This is your third solo, right?
This is my second solo, but it was just really one of those things of just keeping the music going and making sure that it was done in a proper way. My guys are out playing with Vince Neil, meaning Dana, Sultan, and Blando, and in between while they're doing that, I put together this record, and I'm really, really proud of it.
Wait a second. You had time to be out with the band, playing with them, and then time for a solo project? Come on. What do you got, 36 hours in a day?
Well, yeah, that's cool. That's what we do. It's up all night, up all day. There is no in between now. Now we're in a big burn at this point.
It's got to be a lot of fun. Now, did the guys from the band listen to your solo work? Is it really different, fundamentally different between the band and your solo work?
I think that there's more liberties and more things that I do in a solo side that I would not do in a band. I do think there are differences, and I think it shows pretty well on the record itself when people listen through it. It's a really hard record in certain ways, but there's also this dynamic of how should I put it, of honesty. That I'm really, really pleased with.
So what type of liberties did you take? What would we really listen for? What should your fans listen for?
Well, first and foremost, I played the guitar on the whole record. I did all the vocals. I played the keys except for on one song. And I had a drummer come in and play, and I played bass on half the record. And so it's definitely one of those things that as far as being hands-on as an engineer all the way through, and the arrangements and production value, I did it all myself. So that's very different in that side. So in that side is hearing it with 2 ears.
Sounds like we lost you there.
I hear you now.
All right, there you
lost you there for a second. I don't know what happened.
It's technology at its best and its worst.
Yeah, there you have it.
So you were telling a great story when we lost you, but let me get back. So now you pretty much you got total control of this solo project. Does that fit your personality?
Well, it's not like on this type A personality where I have to have everything the way I have to have everything. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just one of those in a creative process when you have all the paints yourself, you paint differently. And I think that's really where I'm at with this whole thing is it changes, ultimately, it's a different type of art than it would be with the cast of characters, so to speak.
Right, because you don't have to answer to a cast of, fools. No, I'm just kidding. Fools.
Well, really what it is I think that, in a band situation, everybody's trying to work together to go, well, what do you think? Well, what do you think? Yeah. Well, what do you think? And then it changes because everybody's kind of adjusting to what a person what everybody thinks is a total mind. When it's just one person, you go, well, I don't like that or I do like that, and you just objectively decide that you're going to do that and go with it. Kind of commit differently.
Right. So you only answer to yourself, much like me hosting my own show. I have no one else to answer to. It's my project, good, bad, or indifferent.
That's right.
And we're not kids. We've been around a long time, both you and I. So we know what we want. We know what we want out of people. And whatever we do, the reaction is just for me. I mean, let's face it. We have big egos. We want me, more me.
I think what it is if you know something is good at this point, you know it's good. And it's like the other record that I did, the Reflections in a Rearview Mirror, the other solo record I did was good. This one is much better. I think that I've grown as a producer and as a songwriter as well. And I think that if you're not getting better with age, then you're some bad wine.
Right.
So that's kind of how I look at it.
On the telephone, we got Mark Slaughter. He just released a brand new solo project called Halfway There. So what is more difficult to do? The producing, the playing, the writing? What part is really difficult for you to do?
I think that probably the very end result when I'm listening to it and going, does this belong on the record? And there are several songs that I didn't put on this record. Not that they were bad, but I don't think that they fit with the body of work. The mindset of making this record was a vinyl record, like what I grew up with as a kid.
Yep.
There's an A side and a B side, and there is a certain attitude in when you listen through the whole vinyl in that way. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, and also make it to where I could also make this a vinyl record and make it, really go back to where I came from as a listener, as a music fan, and try to bring that same excitement, hopefully, to people when they hear this.
Right. There's nothing better than vinyl. You get your 20 minutes on one side, and then you get to flip that bad boy over. I miss those days.
That's it. And that's what I did. I mean, I really had to, and that's also a lot of self-editing of like, well, I can't do this because that'll tear up too much time. And there's a lot of things that I had to change because of that, but in the end result, I think the body of the record sounds better because of it.
I didn't even think of that in terms of the overall time on each side of the vinyl.
Yeah. You have to go. Okay, this is only going to be the max is 22 minutes per side, and I'm right at 43 in the total record. So I'm like right at the max of where I can get away with it without it starting to sound bad or start ruining where the grooves are on it.
And that fits our generation's attention span. We can get to 22 minutes. 23, you're pushing it.
Yeah. So I think that's really where it's at. I really kept it right in the zone.
Right. And if you go back to when we were teenagers and stuff, hey, if you got to flip the album over, it's too late. It's over. So just take her home.
Right. That's right. Exactly.
Right. Now, did any of this bring back songs that you did early in your career that here you're tinkering away, you're thinking this song, you're thinking that song, and you stopped and you said, this is too much like 1992. I can't rewrite that.
Right. Well, it's exactly that. I mean, it's one of those things of, you try to fit your music to what people are living through right now. You try to, you're trying to, ultimately make it a reflection or a soundtrack to what people are experiencing. So if you write songs that are, this is really good to go to the beach, or this is a really good melancholy song, or this is a song that's like this, you get to the point where you're really ultimately, making songs that are a part of people's lives.
Right.
And that's, as a songwriter, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to create that soundtrack for those people.
Is the music that you just produced, would you say it's your proudest moment during your career?
I think that ultimately, yes, I think that when you do a record, it's like having a child.
Yeah.
You're going to love it no matter what happens with it, whether it's whether it's positive or negative. You're gonna love it just the same. You're gonna put the same type of efforts and time in it as you would normally, and that's kind of how I feel about this record. Obviously, each time you do it, you go, well, this is better than the last one.
Yep.
But it's still a part of me, and still something that I hold and cherish very closely to my heart.
Now, the title I thought was interesting. Halfway There. Is there any secret meaning to that?
Well, it's just the song "Halfway There" is about life and being halfway through life, and halfway through, and it that also reflects to a teenager. I mean, there's a lot of different aspects in this song that people will hear. They'll hear, as a listener, they're going to put themselves in that role of if they're the kid driving away in graduation, or if you're the mother who's passed on, or whatever. It's just life, and it's what we all deal with, and it's exactly what I tried to bottle up and put on this on this vinyl download CD of this is how life is.
Now, with your first single out there, Hey You, it's about to hit the top 20. That's got to be a proud moment when you get that call that says, dude, you're in the top 20 with this.
Yeah, I mean, which is just amazing to me because, again, when you're making it, I have a studio at my farm which this was all cut at. And, when it goes from your house or your place where you're you come up with those ideas, and then it goes into people's worlds and is being played around the world. It's a really happy moment. It's not necessarily a proud moment. It's just a really happy moment. You go, that's really cool.
Now, what I thought was really cool is most would say your song is classic rock, but I'm hearing the 20-somethings, which includes my son, is playing it and going, "Who is this, Dad? We've never heard of this Slaughter guy."
Right. Well, I think that this, again, I have young kids too. I have a 22-year-old and a 19-year-old, and they have both said, "Wow, this is really a great record." Like, they're into it. More so than what I've done in the past. So somehow maybe it's the by osmosis of running around with a bunch of teenagers that, it's rubbed off on me, that mindset.
Right. But we're still not cool enough for them. That's the hard part.
No, not at the moment.
I mean, they look at us and just like, that's just Dad in his badass pajamas that he's walking around the house, which is very embarrassing.
Right. Exactly. It's exactly that. And then, when friends come over, wow, really? That's strange. Okay.
Right. Dad, just go out to the Weber, leave us the F alone for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Exactly. Is that what life is like? That's what life is like at my house, that they have no idea who I am, what I do. I'm just Dad. They don't really get the media part. They don't get the pictures. They don't get any of it. Is that how your kids are?
No, it's exactly the same way. And again, when you're in life, it's just normal life. It is exactly that. It's Brandon and Eli's dad more than it is Mark Slaughter, and I'm okay with that. It's not, I'm happy to. That's probably my favorite role of all roles to be. So, it's something I really enjoy. The fatherhood with these kids. But
that really is. That is the best part of life, is being a dad with everything else that goes on. But being a dad is nothing like it. I'm glad to hear that from you. I don't hear that enough from band members and from singers and people that are out there. They don't talk about their family. They don't sound happy about their family.
Well, sometimes there's decisions that you go do. When you walked out the door today, did you take your head with you? I mean, there is that. But, again, as a young kid, we did the same thing. You kind of go, God, man, I was so stupid I did that. Good thing I'm here.
Right.
So I understand it and certainly get it. But, look, it is that whole side of life. And I think halfway there is just it's the story of that. It's a story of how we go through life, and it's the story of what of our winnings and our losing.
Yep.
What happens in life.
Right. You just got to get to the next day. That was the one line from Bruce Springsteen. Take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You're still a step forward in life, my friend.
That's very, very true, and very blessed and happy about that. That's for sure.
Now, I've had a guest on here several times that you played with, and I thought I'd bring it up. Gunnar Nelson has been on this show a bazillion times. Scrap metal. And right now my fans are going freaking nuts because they're big Nelson fans and you being in scrap metal. How did that come about?
Well, there was a show that was done here in Nashville, which is where I live, and it was for the NSAI, which is the Nashville Songwriters Association. And they wanted us to put together a rock project, so that we could actually sell tickets and go towards songwriters. And we said, sure. So we started calling all of our friends, and the next thing you know, we had Artemis Pyle from Skinner. We had Eric Morton from Mr. Big. We had Kelly Kiki on drums. So we had a night of hits over and over, and it was like one of those things you're just going, man, this is crazy. But it's the singers who sang the song. Yeah. As well. So what happened is we said, you know what, this is a really cool concept because we're playing the songs like they were recorded.
Wow.
It's not like when bands get really comfortable and start making, doing their own little things within the song.
Right.
We play it like the record. And with everybody in the Nelson Brothers, they sing great. So, you already have backups there that are amazing. So that's kind of how it all came down. And when we were up on stage, Gunnar leaned over to me and said, we should do this more often and call it scrap metal. And he said it to me on stage. So it's kind of a funny thing. And we do have a few shows that are, coming this summer as well. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, because I was just thinking of their latest release. There's a couple of tracks on there that, heck, you could have sang on or even did lead vocals on.
Well, on on the other record, the one before the one they just put out, I actually helped. I wrote a song with them. So, it's what I do. It's what I love to do. Being a songwriter and getting songs out there, and it's also with like-minded people who are really enjoy life and really have things in perspective.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking before you had called in, I kind of thought, you know what three singers, metal singers, and good, bad, if people call you glam metal or whatever it is, doesn't really matter. Like, what three singers would I put on a show together? And I thought, Stephen Pearcy, Sebastian Bach, and you.
Right.
Like the three tenors.
Yeah, it's the three tenors, exactly. Three tenors, and who knows what's going to happen.
Right. Put a sympathy behind, a symphony behind you guys, and just kind of crank that out. That would be interesting.
It would be a blast. It would be a blast. Look, it's again, all of us, meaning Stephen, Sebastian, myself, and all the guys who sang those songs back in the day, we're all still doing it, and the crazy part of it is we all look at this and just go, man, how cool is this? We're doing this many years later. People still care, and we're still rocking seats and people in them, and it's just been great.
So why don't you give me a little bit of your social media stuff? We want to make sure everybody follows you. So what's your address on Twitter and on Facebook?
It's Mark Slaughter Official, and on Facebook it's Mark Slaughter 33 on Twitter, and Instagram I believe is Mark Slaughter Official as well.
So you guys can go to markslaughter.com, get the latest. You can download his brand new CD, Halfway There. We're going to play a couple of tracks from your new CD. And you got tour plans. Are you going to tour by yourself, or are you with the band this summer only?
I'm with the band this summer, but I also have, at this point, 3 or 4 shows that I am going to be taking out just in a solo mindset. So,
Fantastic.
I'm just going to go out there and play and do what I love. I mean, this is what I love to do, and I'm going to keep doing it till I can't do it anymore.
Hey, if you ever do an acoustic version of any of these songs, send it in. I would play that to death. I love hearing acoustic versions of songs.
Cool. Very cool. Well, I'll make one up, send it on over.
Fantastic. Mark, it is an absolute pleasure. Whenever you want to be on The Blend here in Chicago, you are always welcome. You're always welcome, my friend.
Hey, man, I really appreciate it. What a great city. And again, thank you for not only talking to me about my music, but keeping everybody informed of all the rock and roll and all the good stuff that's going on in the world. So thanks again.
All right, thank you so much. From the brand new CD, Halfway There, here's Mark Slaughter and Hey You. You're listening to The Blend.